One thing that I like to have pretty planned out is potential dialogue and role playing. When it comes to the exact combats and things like that, I like to have the specifics of who they're going to fight. I like to have stat sheets beforehand. I like to have maps pre-built. I like to have little chests and like treasure that they can find already built for the most part, as well as if there's like a puzzle or something like that. Nothing too crazy, but I like to have things relatively well figured out. So if you looked at my sheet of before any session, you'll find most of those things. And I kind of do it by a scene by scene play. And the reason I do it like that is because I have a digital gaming table that I play on. So it's important for me to like have the map there that the players can see. And then I also have all of the notes for that scene, essentially. And to me, a scene is when they're looking at one map, that's the scene. So I essentially break things scene by scene for each session, and then I say, all right, here's the NPCs, here's like the list of dialogue options that could occur, here's some things that like they might fight or they might buy or something like that for each scene. And then if they get crazy, then I like improv the rest. But that's how it is for a session. And then when it comes to overall campaign planning for me, I do like to have at least a minimum of like some pretty detailed information about what the world setting is. I like to have a section that just talks about what my overall plan for the story is. That is constantly getting updated. and then from there, I just break it down into session by session, which is very similar to how we've seen WorldSmith do it so far. But I know that a lot of people do it differently. So we want to figure out how people do it. Yeah.
I'm curious when you write out dialogue, like, are you thinking through like a back and forth of like what you anticipate that the players will say, or are you more just like writing out like kind of the chunks of important like monologue that the NPCs might need to give, and then you kind of are okay improvising like back and forth?
I'm more of the improving way. So I kind of have, all right, scene, here's a description that I read to them when they enter that room, essentially, right? So here's like something that I've pre-written. I know what I'm going to say. And then after that, let's say I have an NPC, they have a ghost in a room that they're going to talk to, and they can find out information from them. I will like have a bullet point list of like, hey, here's stuff that they could find out. And it's not like a long, perfectly crafted like list of like dialogue, but it's just like they could discover this, they could discover this, they could discover this. And then like, even if sometimes I'll even include like a, hey, for a D something intimidation or persuasion, you could do this. So
do you write out your a lot of your CR like challenge rating beforehand?
I write the DCs before if it's like pretty important. If it's a DC check, I will write it out beforehand. So cool. It's a lot of work, but that's how I do it.
That's awesome. That sounds super rad. Yeah.